Okay, let's take a look a little more at some networking facts. Here we are, just to be aware that on Windows 10, you have these little network icons that will appear down near the start, on the start bar, down near the clock is what I should say. And they will change over time and have changed, but just realize that there is a little icon down there that represents your network connection. They show you the different statuses for in Windows, what you see when you go to the network status. What I want to focus on is down below that. They're showing a little USB wireless interface card. Those are actually fairly slow. The USB bus is slower than the Wi-Fi connection. So if you have to use them, you have to, otherwise you don't want to. But I wanted to talk about these network categories. Local area network is basically a group of computers and devices that are relatively physically close. Usually it'll be within the same building. These terms that you see in front of you, LAN and WAN, are very general, and really depends on how you look at things. So at this point, just realize that if you go into EAC's network, they're probably going to think of the LANs that they have available in their network, like the LAN that's at the CBIT building where I teach classes. That would be a LAN. And then, a South Campus LAN and a Mid-Campus LAN or Center Campus LAN. And those are different LANs that tend to be associated with buildings, where a WAN would be something that covers a larger area, a larger geographical location. So EAC would probably say, oh, this is our WAN, talking about it from their point of view. However, if you're their internet service provider and you connect cities together, then it would be looked at as EAC's LAN, the whole thing. And then the WAN would be them, right, connected to all these different locations. So they're general terms, and really what you need to understand is that a LAN is a group of connected computers that are physically close, usually in the same building, not always, but usually. And then the term WAN is used in a larger geographical location, and usually covers a city or a large campus, or it can even cover the country or the entire world, right? So that's pretty big, that's pretty general. These two are really important because of what you see inside of Windows. This gets messed up all the time. Your friends mess this up all the time. You connect to a wireless network, or your friend does, and it comes up and says, okay, well, I've connected to this network. Can you tell me if this is private or public? And it actually explains what that is. It explains right there, hey, this is what public means, this is what private means. But lots of people don't read that. They just click next and go on and don't think anything about it. But there's a serious thing happening in the background. Depending on what you're choosing, private or public, it is creating a firewall rule based on that and attaching it to that network. So every time you come on that network, it's going to say, apply this firewall rule. So this is what we want to understand. A private network can be accessed only by computers inside the network. So this is essential for businesses and employees, but basically we're saying my network over here is private, meaning not everybody can attach to it. And if you're attaching to it, then obviously you're part of the private network. Public networks mean they can be accessed freely by anybody, like McWi-Fi down at McDonald's, right? Anybody can get on that network. So in the most important public networks, worldwide system, interconnected networks called the internet, that's a massive public network. So you go down to McWi-Fi and you connect to that, and your system comes up and says, hey, is this a private or a public network? You need to say public, because what that's going to do is firewall you very strictly. It is not going to be looking for other computers on the network. It's not going to allow other computers on the network to look for you. It's not going to allow you to print to something. It's not going to allow others to print to you. It's going to lock all those things down because you said public. This is public. Where on your home network, somebody comes in and they're attaching to your home network, and they go, hey, is this a private or is this a public network? You would tell them it's private because they may need to print to your printer or access your TV to stream something, right? So that's a big, huge thing, and honestly, not as easy to clarify or make right if you get it wrong. So train others that you see and know and say, hey, this is the difference between a private and public. So when you attach to wireless, all you got to do is think about, am I attaching to my friend's network or the school network? That's a private network. If I'm attaching to some free and open network out there and I don't even know who really manages it, that's a public network. All right, so that's public and private. We will continue on.